I was so quickly mistaken once I took off her shirt. I found out that she wasn't wearing booty shorts. I was like, oh, so she knew what we was gonna do. I'm like, yes, sir. I go into the bathroom. When I mean, I was ready for whatever was gonna go down. I put my phones. Both of my phones were like on one side of the couch. We sitting in the middle of the couch. My phones are over by the armrest. Chilling. I'm seeing my phone go off from like my homies in the group chat and shit. I'm over here like, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I remember I put the story that I'm like, when I was in the bathroom, like, it's nice in here. That story, I put that story on my Instagram and my Snap. My homeboy hit me up later on after, once I get back out from the bathroom, I put on the condom, and after we do our do, I'm finna go back to that in a second. My homeboy hit me up talking about, you over old girl? I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, your boy had to 1-2 times. You feel me? I'm just, I had to, you feel me? But but let's go back now. I go into the bathroom. I put on the condom. I come back out the bathroom. She like, you serious about this? I'm like, hell yeah. I wanted to start it off slow, I would like, trade spots, you feel me? She go down on me, I go down on her, of course. But she like, nah. I'm like, she mean nah. She like, nah. I'm like, I got you. I'm not even like, I go first, you feel me? Nah, she straight up said, put it in. I'm like, oh.
Whoa, nah.
Okay.
Damn.
She like, put it in. I'm like, for sure. Started off, missionary, but it's like, since her couch is lower and I'm tall as hell, and that couch, you can sink into the couch if you get comfortable enough. Boy,
Shit.
my calves had a good workout for a minute, and then like it rotated from missionary to like her, she riding me. I'm like, yo, this is really happening. I don't even know. I wish I could have known how I looked when I was sitting there doing that. But all I remember from that, like from my sounds, I was quiet. Like you heard breathing from me, but from her, you was hearing moans from every pitch. Low, like they started off low, the beginning ones. You start going in for about 10 minutes, they get a little higher. Go in for 20 minutes, they get a little higher. Start doing it a little bit longer, they get higher and higher. Next thing you know, I'm thinking one of her neighbors is sooner or later just gonna come in or knock on the door. Like they gonna knock on the door. Hey yo,
y'all having fun over there?
Everything good in there? Everything good in there? Oh. So it made me more quiet. I'm not really a verbal type of person, nigga. I'm a man of action. I'd rather do something before I say it sometimes. But I didn't hear nothing. She riding me first. I'm over here. So while she riding me, she kind of leaned over. She leaned on me. I'm like, I'm trying to catch. So I'm not even gonna lie. I was low-key looking at her tits. I'm like, I'm finna catch one of these motherfuckers. I gotta catch one of these motherfuckers. I was like, I'm trying to catch one of these motherfuckers. I'm just hoping one swing and you just get right to the mouth. You got it. No, that didn't happen. I was low-key kind of focused on the motion in the ocean, fucking tits at that point. After like 20 minutes go by of that position, she's like, what you want to do? I'm like, what you mean? She's like, you want to put me in any position? I said, bend over. Then I just straight up bend over. She's like, oh, you want to? I'm like, what you mean? I gotta give it in one time. I can't. I got to. This is my first time. If you don't know by the title or anything, this was my first time too. So perks are that first time with a girl that was cool. Safe sex, of course, I had to rap before you whack it. And she let me do whatever for a minute. I was feeling I just remember my heart was pumping, but my body felt normal. Like, I had adrenaline and everything was going by pretty fucking quickly. But every time I decided to look at a clock or try to find the time after we stopped, I was like, damn, this really went by.
Yes, sir.
Nigga, she bends over. We going back. Like I said, bend over. She said, okay. She bends over. I'm like, I get myself positioned right, Since I'm taller than her and her couch. Bam, that was just. It was y'all ever seen like the video of a Great Dane trying to like have sex with like a Chihuahua?
Huh?
Like if you've ever seen like a Great Dane trying to hump like a smaller animal, it's pretty much just like almost hidden air type shit. If they don't get
Notice how nobody fucking asked.
it was like that was the shortest position we had for the majority of the time. I remember I said, okay, this ain't gonna work. She's like, yeah. I remember I just picked her up, switched back to what we was originally doing, but I'm standing up with her. I'm like, yes, sir, for a minute, and then it goes back to us being like, I'm sitting down on the couch again. She riding me. I'm like, for sure. Like that's probably about like an hour. She asking me, you want something to drink? I'm like,
What the fuck?
nah. She's like, you sure? I'm like, I'm cooling right now. I guess I was sweating. And I didn't notice I was sweating until after I actually got a drink. But even after I got a drink, you know, a little bitty round two, you know, a preview of round two happened after that, after the drink. But still, that was the first time she asked me for a drink. I didn't say nothing. I was like, I'm cooling. We continued. She started getting her motions. I started getting my motions. I'm grabbing onto the thighs. If you know what the thighs is, or the thupa, it's that part that like it's where it's a part of the thigh, but it's like when she sits down or she does like a little pose or something that bends in. You see the thigh bends into into the body, towards the ass, almost towards the pussy, the fupa, anything like that. Whatever it is, that shit go crazy. Whatever that shit is, it go crazy.
Oh, this section of the body I have circled off, if it's part of the thigh, if it's part of the fupa, if it's a combination of both, the thigh-upa, I don't know. But what I do know is I like that shit. If you got that shit, I'm trying to touch that shit.
I'm over there. I got my hands on her hips right there. I'm like, I feel my thumb between her thigh and her like little bit of her stomach. I'm over there. Yes, sir. I got the grip. I got the grip. Got that grip. Go on for a minute. Pick her up. I'm like, I'm cooling for a minute. Then she asks again, you want something to drink? I'm like, I could go for some water. No, it's just me, her, and her dog. Her dog is like went to sleep at this point. I'm doing me for a minute. Next thing I know, we in the kitchen. She gets me some water. I drink some water. She drinks some water. And she's like, whew. Well, what you want to do now? I'm like, yo, turn around. turn around. Like, she facing me. I'm like, yo, turn around. Turn around. Turntable. Spin that shit. Run it back, turbo.
Like that!
And she turn around. Then I pick up the leg a little bit. You know, I get there. A couple more sessions for a few more minutes. You feel me? Then I'm like, yo, no. By all of this, of course, I'll say two key things played into effect that day. For me not busting, like for me not even like letting one off, shooting around or dumping a clip was, I would say, of course, the condom and anxiety. Cause nigga, I was like in my head, I was low-key panicking, but while I was going through it, I'm over here like I'm getting relaxed a little bit. So I started becoming a little bit more vocal. I started becoming a little bit more dominant. I'm over here like, this is how I am. Halfway through, and shit. I took the condom off. I wrapped it up into a paper towel, put it into a bag. I'm like, yo, we gotta throw this away. She's like, yeah. My mom doesn't need to see that. I'm like, for sure. Put it into the trash. She took the trash out. I took the trash out. Put it by the door. For when later we finna leave, like whenever we finna leave or whatever, you can throw that away. I sit back down on the couch. She's walking back. She notices that like. She's like, you had fun? I'm like, yeah, I didn't let loose. I didn't just let loose. She's like, I gotta get you here. I'm like, nah, it ain't that necessary. I'm kinda cooling right now. Like, she's like, nah, but seriously. She's like, what you trying to do? I'm like, you know, I have to fill in between my jaw for a few minutes. And she's like, you know, that doesn't really work. I'm like, it's just something I'm trying to experience one time. I'm sitting on the couch, knee by, like, she on her knees in front of me. I'm on the couch. Spread eagle. Nah, but for real though, I kind of had like both my arms kind of spread it out. I'm spread eagle, you feel me? So everything is around her. She just said, I gotta at least get you off your son. I'm like, she's like, let me know if you've been a butt. I'm like, for sure. She just proceeds to just. I ain't got nothing procedure for that. I'm not trying to get this shit. Well, it might. This video might be copyrighted, but I'm not actually. Not that. No. You know, I'm just giving y'all the details. She proceeded to saw me up. She proceeded to go down there. Give it a little hand twist combo with the motherfucking vacuum seal. For a second, I'm like, stop for a minute. I'm like, I'm cooling. She's like, nah, for real. But I brought back up the first thing I wanted to do, which is go into the box. I was gonna the box. I was gonna get up. I was gonna go in on that box for a second. Like just going down, you know. I like to please my partner before I get pleased. You feel me? Like that's supposed to be shit. I'm supposed to be hype. She's like, nah, you don't got to. I'm like, nah, for real. I'm down for that. She's like, nah. I'm like, I'm not gonna question no more. I'm not gonna pressure. You feel me? Get out of that. Yeah, get out of that. Right? We get out of that. And I'm like, then we proceed to continue watching what we watching. It was probably like 30 minutes later, like not even 15 minutes later, I decided to check on my phones because like our phones were going off for a minute before we finished and all that. We got something to drink, did a little round two, got John Don. I got vacuum sealed for a second. Stood in up, but I'm like, I'm not tripping. I got the box regardless. I'm not gonna stress it or nothing no more. I'm not gonna push her out of her comfort zone or anything like that. So it's like, whatever. I'm like, We sitting there, I check my phone. I see that I got like 2 DMs specifically for me, and then like a couple of them going on in a little chat. I looked at the chat. I'm like, what's up with y'all? They over there chilling. I'm like, for sure. I see the other DMs. I'm like, for sure. I respond to my homeboy. He like, homegirl house? You got old girl house? I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, what y'all do? I'm like, I played with her breast for a little bit. You feel me? I was just like, I had to feel them Jones for a second. I'm like, I had to lay it down. Yo, fuck. I had to again. I had to. He's like, nah, bro. I'm like, hey. He's like, how? He's like, you know, you gotta ask him. Your bro shit. Your bro will ask you like, how long or whatever. Just out of curiosity, just like, you laid it down. I'm like, yes, sir. He like, oh, for sure. So that's your girl. I'm like,
I hope so.
Hey, I'm sitting there. Yeah, she pretty much is at that point, like, cause she was like really hyped into me. Like, I gave off the energy that like you can fuck with, and you see what that led me to. I got fucked with.
Lord have mercy.
I got the what's Roddy Rich's favorite song, his best song, like one of his most well-known overplayed songs, The Box. In conclusion, we still sitting there vibing for a few. We chilling. She let her dog out because she had to wake her up. I'm like, you fed her? She's like, yes. You got water? Like, give her some water. You know, she might be thirsty from it. She's like, yeah. She gave her water. I'm over there joking around with the dog because, of course, it's a puppy. They don't really know how to, like, balance completely when eating sometimes. So she kind of lifted her legs up a little bit twice. I'm like, yo, chill. We vibing on the floor. I asked her, like, I think it turned around. Like, I asked for a massage. We just started talking about, like, chilling. Like, we was chilling on the floor for a minute, like, with the dog. The dog chills, she go around just sniffing stuff, lays down for a second. The dog ain't doing much. Like, we chilling there. I think I asked her, like, I was told I give out some good ass massages. She's like, yeah, no, Roy. I'm like,
Put some respect on my name.
you want me to? Though? She's like, for sure. How I was placed was pretty much like another position, but I'm like, I started off, you know, working my work, you feel me, doing a little craft. And she's like, I finished for a second. I didn't do the best of me yet. I didn't have none of my materials, you know. Didn't have no baby oil, no lotion, something to get the hands with less friction going. You feel me? Didn't have none of that. I only got down to like halfway of her back, and then she told me I got to repay the favor. I'm like, what you mean? I'm like, I didn't even get down to where I'm trying to get into their deep. I'm trying to put my elbow and my knuckles into the back. You feel me? I'm trying to make sure that back feeling better. She gives me a little slight massage. She's chilling on my back for a minute. Like, and I mean, like, she gave me a small massage, and the next thing I know is that I'm laying on the floor, and she's just laying on my back. I'm like, I'm like, I ain't tripping. I'm like, fuck it, bro. I record. I'm on stories, chilling, see what other people doing. She on Instagram looking at like little 5-minute crafts, seeing her friends, seeing her selfies and captions. I'm like, that's what's up. I go to Instagram. I'm looking for memes, of course. You feel me? I got that account, so I gotta look for memes and reactions and shit like that. I'm looking around and stuff. She said she had to go do something. She left her phone. I basically hacked her phone by doing a little video on it, and then I just and then I just sent it to her story. And then like after that day, she asked me what happened with that. I was like, oh yeah, it's just Instagram. I didn't go nowhere else. She's like, oh okay. I'm like, huh. I peeped something that I probably shouldn't have, but I peeped something. I'm like, that's what's up. He's sitting there. When I was talking about the first video I said I was making while I was laying there, she was actually kind of, like, she was bugging me as a joke. I'm not joking. Like, I was joking around, so it didn't really matter. I finally get up and sit down on the couch. She come back in. She sit down on the couch. I picked her dog up. The dog's on the couch with me. We chilling. We watching the show. I'm still in that little cuddle phase, so I'm over there feeling and stuff. Then around like 2, like I've been there since the AM, and now it's gonna be PM. I'm like, around 2, it's in the middle of the day. She's telling me like, yo, I'm trying to get ready for work. I'm like, sure, I'll take you. I'll drop you off. I'm not gonna question it. I'm here. I'll provide the services. I'll do that. I drop her off and all that. But I was looking kind of making it where I'm sitting there like, you don't even gotta go to work today. You could call off. You can call off today. I'm joking around. Like, you can call off today. I'm here. I'm not trying to waste your time. But eventually, I was gonna sooner have to leave because I did not feel like getting stuck in traffic. So I'm like, alright, let me drop you off. You don't want to be late. I'll drop you off where it's at. She directs me down to her spot and shit. We sit there. I give her to her job. She all dressed. I'm like, you got everything. Make sure she didn't leave nothing. Before we left her crib, she gave me a bucket of Sour Patch Kid bites, the sour straws or whatever, kid straws, bites, don't matter. She gave me a box of candy and a box of Slim Jims, and I'm like, you sure you don't want these? She's like, dude, I got like 2 more boxes of these. I'm like, god damn. She had them bitches stocked. I'm not gonna cap. She had those on deck. She kept the mugs on deck. She had snacks. I'm like, for sure. Those lasted me probably like 2-3 weeks. I did not even joke. I barely ate them, but then again, they smacked.
Okay.
I was like, every once in a while, you probably heard a rap. Like, every once in a while, I open up a rapper, you feel me? Knock some candy back. I told her thank you. But as I'm dropping, but it's like going back to that. When I dropped her off, she kissed me goodbye. I'm zooming back home, get caught in traffic a little bit. By the time that happened, I get the ring on the phone. Dad's like, come get me. I'm like, for sure. I should be over there. I shoot him. End of the day. And she brings up the question like, what social media account you hacked? I'm like, just the Instagram anymore. She's like, okay. I'm like, So we vibed later on that week, since that was like a Tuesday or Wednesday. Later on the week, I'm like, I'm trying to see her again. You feel me? Just trying to chill. Actually, just get to take her out or just chill at the crib and not do nothing more but like pick at her brain in person, because talking on the phone get boring sooner or later. Like, if we gonna FaceTime and shit, sooner or later a nigga gonna just be like, what we doing? What we doing?
Bro, what you on?
What we doing? I'm like, for sure. I was like, let me see her again. Sunday roll around. I'm in a Wendy's drive-thru with my dad, talking about, can I go see a friend? He's like, where's this friend stay? I'm like, Irvine. I'm like, I got the blush. I have a blush on my face. I'm blushing technically, but nobody, you can't really see a black guy blushing or he feeling embarrassed or what. So I kind of covered my face a little bit. I'm like, Irvine. He's like, damn, why is that friend out there? I was like, that's where she lives. He's like, oh, it's a she. I'm like, yes, she. He's like, what's her name? I'm like, M. He's like, I literally already knew what his rundown was gonna be, so I just said, fuck it. Her name is M. She's African. I gave him the height. I gave him her name, her height, her ethnicity, her general area of staying. And I'm like, I'm only gonna be there for a few and I'll come back. He's like, alright, so just be safe. I'm like, let's drop him off. Get the digi over to her crib again. We vibing. I'm like, yes sir. We chill, we cuddle. I'm like, we cooling watching TV for a minute. Got a little cuddly. You feel me? Things go a little bit too far for a few seconds, and I'm like, She like, I'm like, for sure. We both chill for a second. And at this time, I brought a jacket because like it's already gonna be nighttime. I had a brand new jacket. I didn't really wear it like that, and I wasn't really gonna really look forward to fully rocking that jacket anyways at the time. So I just bring it, but I already knew what the fuck my jacket was gonna be for, cause like I already told her in like weeks before we even linked up. I got jackets on deck. I got like 9 plus 10 hoodies, straight pullover hoodies. I have like 10 plus of those bitches. And she's like, I'm gonna take all your hoodies if I come down there. I'm like, you ain't gonna do that. It's a joke. And she's like, I will take them and you're not gonna get them back. I'm like, what do you mean? Nigga, I bought these. I got these. These weren't gifts. I actually went out, found them hoes, and bought them hoes. You ain't finna just run my shits like you a robber. You got a gun to my head. That ain't finna happen. She's like, nigga, stop playing. So I bring a jacket. We chilling. I left my jacket there. I'm like, oh no, this is for you. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. She slept in the jacket for about 2 weeks. No joke. She slept in the jacket about 2 weeks. I'm chilling back at the beach like that very next day. I'm chilling at the beach with my homie again. We just chilling, talking about stuff, what's going on. My boy over here is talking about his ex. I'm talking about my girl. She called me, and like she called me. I'm hyped. I'm like, hey, he gets to meet her like that via FaceTime call. It's like, how you doing? I'm like, he gave her a little rundown, like, bro, that's my bro. That is my bro. Like, I would do that to my bros, girls too. Like, if they really wanted to, I'll be like, yo, I'll sit down, start talking to him, like, so you're not gonna do my boy dirty, right? You're not gonna do my brother dirty. I don't gotta come out there and handle anything. I'll take care of all your brothers while he finishes whatever's going on with y'all. Like, don't play. Like, I kill for my guys. Not even gonna cap. That's my blood family down here. So he just doing a little fake rundown, it's a joke, you know. He's like, this is my name, so what's up? What you doing? And all that. I'm like, yeah. And then like I end off the call because we was finna walk down to onto the beach shore almost. We was finna walk down, listen to the waves a little bit more. I'm like, I'll call you back when I get home. She's like, bye, bow, hangs up, chilling. That night goes by. I call her when I got back home, high off my ass. It's like 12. She all like, yo, I'm finna get a nap and I gotta open early tomorrow. I'm like, for sure. She talked for a little bit longer, then she went to sleep. It was about almost 2 o'clock. I'm like, for sure. Hit her up in the morning. How you doing? What you doing? She like, I'm doing pretty good. We chilling, vibing. I told her, yo, I'm finna be out there again next week. What you trying to do? Like, cause I have to I'm taking my girl to a game, so I'm like, what you trying to do? I feel like I sit there, I get a couple snaps in when I went to the game. Talking about Garden Grove, she sees them, she ventures. It's like, what you doing out there? I'm like, I take my guy over there almost like weekly, literally, damn near weekly. I'm taking this nigga out to Anaheim or Garden Grove. I'm like, he got another game coming up on Tuesday. I can just shoot through because it's not that far from you. She's like, you don't got to. I'm like, I can come scoop you or something. We could at least like, you know, chill. I'm trying to get to see you and actually spend time with you. If you're trying to build a relationship for real, you're gonna have to spend in-person time together. Because over the phone ain't that it, like ain't all that it and shit. She's like, oh no, it's not that way. I'm like, okay. So it's just like that. Same things go around. I spent time with my homies, FaceTime her throughout the day. We was always joking around. We stayed joking around regardless. Like we was joking around for the rest of August, for a part of August, like for those 2 weeks when I gave her my jacket and all that. And like around the 4th week of August, stuff started just to die bomb randomly. Like I was there for her for a lot of things. I was there for her panic attack with her dog. I was there for her when she got the dog. I was there for I was doing my business as being a dude and shit. I'm talking about like I'm chilling and all that, and then she started bringing up like, yo, like she started talking about like past relationships and all that. And I'll say the one thing that always like confused her was that like during the time with my first girl, pretty much, I was doing what I was providing to her. I was gonna provide to her the first time when we met. You know, I'm trying to eat. I explained to her I was just eating out the box like it was takeout, my nigga, like. But I never got nothing really into return from my last girl, and that was just shocking to her. I'm like, what you mean? You didn't even fucking let me even go to you didn't even let me get takeout. But I did get in, yo, so I'm not finna trip. But I never bring it up. I'm just like, yo, it's like that. Why it's like that? But it's whatever. That was really shocking to her, and I found out like how many guys she had and all that. But I already knew how many guys she had beforehand, like dated and gotten in her business with beforehand. Not gonna. Her numbers is in somewhat the double digits, including mine now. If she counts it, I don't know. I really don't. I'm just saying, she's my first body, but I wanna redo that. Not even gonna cap.
That was the dumbest shit I heard all day.
Like if I was to wear a cap with this puffball on my dome piece, no cap on my head. Like how I don't rock caps. No cap. I want to have like another round two, a legit round two, or a repeat. Do stuff better. So, but like continuing on with that talk, I'm over there. I dropped my godbrother off at another game. I'm sitting in the car.
You getting flamed right now, bro.
She kind of like wanted to get some space. She started pointing out some things. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm doing this, that, and this. And she's like, I don't want to sound like an asshole or nothing. You ain't the type of guy or nothing. I'm like, what you mean? She's like, she just started dating people in her own age range around like 2 years ago. I'm like,
What the fuck?
And I'm like, I'm not really stressing about it. I'm only a year older than you, so it's not like that. But she was used to dating like niggas in their 25s, niggas already out of college, niggas already knew what the fuck they finna do in life, what they wanted in careers and shit. And no, I'm like, I'm looking for a job. I know what I want to do. Become like a professional gamer or a game designer and stuff like that. Be a YouTuber, be an influencer, something famously, or at least be well known for a good thing for a good amount of time or for the rest of my life. It doesn't really matter. But she didn't see it like that. She's like, what you want to actually do? I'm like, yeah, game designer is like pretty much my main career goal. And most of the colleges I've been looking at, even still now, they don't really have a game design program or anything. So I'll probably have to go through like strings of learning shit. Computer, technology, coding, then art concepts, concept drawings, and probably storyboard telling. And I'm like, that's simple, and I already know what the fuck I'm gonna do because I already have a lot of mechanics set down. I even, during the time with my first job, before I even met her in 2018, I had like a whole design that like set up for 2Ks, like dual archetypes or trios, and make it tertiary archetypes. So having three main things you're pretty decent at. Or having one thing that you're good at, which is your pure spot, then you get the second thing that you're decent at, which is your secondary or your dual part, and you have a third part that lays into it, like a third type of archetype shit. I had that set up. If I could find that little bitty notepad, I'll probably send something or put something into it. Like I was really, like my job in 2018 was that boring. I literally brought in a notepad, like a small little notepad and pen, and was just writing shit down. I was writing, drawing, you name it, nigga. If I wasn't working or I was sitting inside of a shipping crate, I'm writing and drawing, nigga, if I was waiting. But I guess that didn't really pique her interest in all that. I'm like, what you trying to do? She's like, she's trying to help out with people, being a nurse and all that. She wasn't trying to be a nurse, but she was trying to be somewhat into the medical field. And then something else. I forgot what the other one was, but whatever. And then from that day, I was like, yo, just tell me what you want out of me. I'm like, be straight up. Yeah, I have like a bum mentality or something where I'm like doing stuff like a bum. I'm not looking for a job like that, or I'm not like showing you that I'm making progress in the job. And after that night was over, or after we got off the phone and shit, I told her, I'm gonna make a plan. I got you. I'm gonna make a plan. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna make a plan. I had made this plan. So the plan was that I look for a job, enroll into a college or at least a community or a trade school, get a little career path set up. You feel me? Look for a better job, and then probably enroll into a better fucking school. So with that all being said, that was towards the end of August. I already looked into going into a trade school, learning auto mechanics, because they didn't really have no computer shit for that little trade school. So I'm like, I'll take up mechanics. You know, I'm not really too found on cars, or I'm not too knowing with cars. So I'm like, for sure, I'll do that. Got a job all in the same, all within this same week. I got a little job interview, got the job thing, started working far into the city. I started working about 15 plus minutes away almost from my house, pulling midday to almost midnight, if not that, day shifts, midnight type shifts from midday to midnight, late August, and then did half of that. I then literally did that plan, most of that plan, throughout fucking September type shifts. And at this point, we weren't really talking. We was just talking, chatting up, playing iMessage games, catching up on each other. We weren't doing too much. She was like, hey, this is the early part of September. She all like, hey, can you come and get your jacket? I'm like, you can keep it. I'm not really stressing about that jacket. I don't really wear it. You can keep it. She's like, no, just come and get it, man. It's not really bad or nothing. I washed it for you. I'm like, it's not a problem. You can keep the jacket. I got it for free. I bought a pair of pants that was by the same company that makes the jacket. It was buy one, get one thing free. So I got the jacket for free.